Well, 2024 is now coming to an end, but does not mean we have to end things here. However, we can all say 2024 was a blast in the world of pro wrestling. I mean, great matches, great events, great pay per views, great wrestlers, however you want to per se it. But however, as you probably can guess, we're going to be reviewing certain events that they had their last events of 2024. Now there's so many of them, but I'm only going to minimize them to two, and the rest maybe at some other time. So for today, we're going to be doing ChocoPro's last event of ChocoPro of 2024 with number 417, featuring three matches. We have, of course, a normal six woman tag match, I believe. We have a three-way match and an ultimate 10-woman tag match, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then we move on, of course, with the last NXT of 2024. This one is 1 week away before we head to, of course, to New Year's Evil. So a lot of things could happen. So the real question is, where do we go from here? So we'll see how things will progress. And then, of course, we will do some news updates to cap up our episode on what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events are happening, such as who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey, what's up, guys? So, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling views from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, as 2024 comes to an end, let's finish up the episode of 2024 this year, and then we'll begin a brand new one at the start of 2025. So our first episode we're reviewing is none other than ChocoPro. Alrighty then, so let's begin with ChocoPro number 417. Now, we haven't done 416 for obvious reasons, so those who don't know, events that they do normally in Shinkiba or Shinjuku Phase or possibly Korakuen Hall, they will not be released until a later time because they're editing a lot of videos, so I don't know when they will be editing. So we're not going to be staying away from that. But let's try to do what we can do with ChocoPro. So this is their much recent event, but also the last Choco event of 2024. Um, and it opened up, of course, with Mei Suruga doing her usual thing, greeting the fans, giving the info of the entire show. So it's a lot of fun. Now, our first match, I want to apologize. I thought it was a six-man tag until I saw my notes. We have a very interesting tag match. We have Balan Aki teaming up with Emi Sakura, taking them all the way from Thailand, Matchat, and she teams up with none other than Toto Owashi. So nothing too significant of this match whatsoever. So many of you know that Matchat was here, what was in Japan, hoping to regain the set up Asian Women's Championship that currently is being held by Pam Harajuku. But however, that wasn't the case. But you can tell this match was very interesting. But towards the end, it was Emi Sakura who picked up the win when she applied the Mahe Straw, giving her a good solid win in this match. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have an interesting three-way match. We have Masahiro Takanashi versus So What? Chonchiru. And then, of course, spoiler alert, even though I did not see this, it happened. We have a brand new tag team champions of the Asian Dream tag team titles. Antonio Honda saying his not showing off his belt. As you all know, he has proceeded for this belt. But ask the question is, will this help out build the momentum, knowing that he and Tokiko are now tag champions? Would they have to maintain it? Yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if either Chon or Masa try to pin him in hopes that maybe they will get another opportunity of the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. That's something you can tell. But however, when it comes to this, you know that each individual is different. You know that that Masa, he's a bit of a slick and clever wrestler, try to find ways to pick up wins, even if it's not cheating. And then you got Chon Chido, who is the person who doesn't hold any punches. But when it comes to Antonio Honda, well, you know how it is. He likes to time out, give his stories, does whatever is usual. But that wasn't the case. In this case, it was, of course, Honda who picked up the win when he applied the bridge onto Masa, and just like that, it was over. Now, this next match is a very interesting one. You can say we have the members of a certain generation teaming up versus the rookies, if you might call them. On the rookie side, we have the ever cute, childish girl Kaho Hiromi, Hiroyu Wada, Irikane, Nonaka Seto, and of course her big sister Miya Yatsuba taking on Sayaka, Chiko Shikawa, Sayaka Obihiro, Tokiko Kihara, and of course our current Asian Dream Tag Champ, Super Agent Champion Mei Suruga. Now, of course, there's going to be some interesting dynamics in this one. Not to mention Mei and Kaho always will butt heads due to the fact that that's always been the clear-cut case for them. But, however, of course, you wouldn't expect a whole lot. Um, but, however, when it comes to these type of matches, who knows how this was going to go. But in the end, it was Mei Suruga that picked up the win when she applied a double foot stomp on Hiroyi, and just like that, it was over. Now, for our Janken tournament, I wasn't too sure who's going to walk out as the last Janken winner of 2025. I can tell you that the last two people that made it all the way through was none other than Kaho and, of course, Balanaki. And unfortunately, many people probably would have preferred Kaho. It was Balanaki who picked up the win of the Janken tournament, win being the last of 2024. So we'll see how 2025 will be. So we'll proceed what happens on the next ChocoPro event, since we do know there's going to be a next one, and that probably is going to be on the next episode. But for now, let's move on with our next and final review, and that is NXT. NXT, their last show of 2025, but also we're only 1 week away before New Year's Evil. So a lot of things could happen. Now, our first match, we have Kelani Jordan taking on Lola Vice. Now, of course, recently we have seen Kelani Jordan has been unhinged ever since she lost the NXT Women's North American title to Fallon Henley. So basically, she feels that she's not being respected enough. Knowing that we know she has been a good champion, but there are those that believe that she wasn't good enough. And she tries to prove it. And of course, she's been on Hinge ever since. But however, she picked up a fantastic win against Lola when she applied the bridge. However, of course, certain people who think that um, Kelani Jordan and, of course, Lola Vice are nothing more than nuisance who are trying to steal other people's spots. We're talking about the resident mean girl. Cora J showed up with the kendo stick. However, Stephanie Vakir, who also has a bone to pick with, of course, Cora tried to intervene, but Lola Vice intending to apply the back fist on Stephanie Vakir, but she accidentally missed. So that's basically what happened. So, but we did see a later on where, of course, Lola Vice tried to apologize to Stephanie that she didn't mean to have that, but of course, Kalani Jordan got involved. It became a three-way heated discussion. But of course, Jade is enjoying what she's saying, but this time General Manager Ava decided to shut her up by saying that she will be involved in a number one contendership for the NXT Women's North American title. So she did ask her opponent. Well, luckily for her, her opponents were right in front of her the entire time. We're talking about Kelani Jordan, the former NXT Women's North American Champion, Stephanie Vakir, and Lola Vice. But of course, Cora feels like she's not happy with it, but she may not have no other choice. So we'll see how that rolls up from there. Now, Sarah conducts an interview with Cedric Alexander talking about what happened to Javon Evans. Of course, Javon Evans, as you know, his face was bleeding out after Ethan Page took it way too far because of his ego. Because, as you all know, Ethan Page could not regain the NXT title. So Javon Evans tried to reason with them, but of course, Ethan Page wasn't having it. Cedric Alexander said that he has his mind that Javon Evans told him to go get some payback, but of course Ethan Page was not going to happen. However, it became a brawl. They took it to the ring, and we jumped into the match itself. But unfortunately, this match ended with Ethan Page applying a cutter, and then he decided to take it way too far by smashing Cedric Alexander with his hand on a toolbox, and just like that is over. So basically, he's taking things way too far. But if I was Ava, I was definitely try to reprimand him for what his behavior is causing, so we'll see where that goes. Now, recently, as you know, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger have been real tight with none other than Tariq Ewig and Tyson DuPont. But however, things have become a little bit sour until they started hanging out with Wes Lee. But of course, Sean Spears showed up and all this and that. However, of course, no one trusts Sean Spears. But however, uh, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger are determined to find a third partner to deal with Igwe and DuPont and Lee. So we'll see how that rolls up. However, our next match, we have a bit of a three-way tag team match. We have, of course, Gigi Dolan and Shotzi taking on Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, and versus Meta Girls, consisting of Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Now, of course, things were okay from the very beginning of the match. However, of course, Fatal Influence, who will not tolerate wrestlers that they feel are taking their spotlight, well, they got involved, costing Gigi Dolan the match. Jakara Jackson did able to win the match. However, while things were coming a little unclear, it turns out that someone has been watching this match, and that is, of course, the unpredictable unholy union, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. So we'll see how those two will enjoy that type of scenario. Now, of course, there's been a lot of controversy to what happened last week at the NXT Heritage Cup tournament. So it appears there's going to be a bit of another rematch taking place in New Year's Evil because of what William Regal done. However, so basically, there's going to be another match taking place. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, of course, Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom won for Tag Team of the Year. However, OTM believes that they're the ones who are going to dethrone them and become the brand new tag team champions of starting 2025. So we'll see how things will rolls up. Now, Soruka and Zaire, of course, were watching the whole thing. But however, Soruka had something up her sleeve, and that is, of course, Izzy Dame, who, of course, got in her face. However, when you thought Izzy Dame had everything under control, she just found herself staring at Sean Spears again, who is now annoyed by his presence. And of course, Zaire tried to help her, but unfortunately, Izzy Dame got involved and costing the match. So basically, that's what happened. Uh, well, before the main event, I believe we did see Hank and Tank were able to have Andre Chase, who's been in a much of a depressed mode after Chase U was closed down, so he volunteered to join. Now, you can think that things were going well for everything in this match, but unfortunately, for some odd reason, Chase decided to walk out of nowhere, but this led to, of course, a stunner made by Igwe to Walker, and just like that, pick up the win. So things got a little interesting on that. Now, of course, we have a bit of a little love story going on. As you know, Ashantadine Adonis has his eyes set on Carmen Petrovic, but he's been trying to call her. And then, of course, Nikita Lyons asked him if she wants to hang out during New Year's. Well, Ashante was not interested, so basically it was his loss. So we'll see how that goes. Now, as you know, Izzy Dame has been, of course, annoyed with Sean Spears getting in her business and all trying to, because we all know that Sean Spears is trying to recruit her. But of course, D'Angelo decided to step in and saying, "Hey, did you hear the lady?" She said, "Back off." And of course, Izzy Dame appreciates D'Angelo stepping up. But however, D'Angelo hasn't forgotten what Sean Spears did to him the last time. So, looks more like their feud is going to be resparked. Now, Obafemi, as you probably can guess, won an award for NXT Star of the Year or something, but later was confronted by Trick Williams, of course, and all this and that, until things got a little more chaotic with Eddie Thorpe, who is not satisfied. He's been looking for ways to get his hands on the NXT title, so it ends in that fashion. So that's pretty much how things end now with NXT in 2024, and we'll see how 2025 will progress on. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move on with, of course, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with, of course, upcoming events from the promotions. We have two of them. As you probably know, Deadlock Pro Wrestling will have the You Already Know event on the 17th of January of 2025. The DPW World title will be defended. Jake Something defends his belt against Ace Austin, so that's going to be a very interesting one. And then finally, Baka Gaijin and Friends has announced for their upcoming event, Volume 19, that will take place on the 21st of January in 2025. So I'm looking forward to see that one. Now on to our developments that are happening in the world of wrestling. Well, surprise, surprise, there's been talk about Viva Van. For a while, there's been those who've been talking about signing her to AEW / Ring of Honor. Well, it's now been confirmed by her on her social media. She is now All Elite Wrestling. So, congratulations, Viva Van. I have seen her once before in the last previous show when I attended AEW in at the Kia Forum in LA back in May of this year. So, it's great that she's going to be in it. TNA has announced that AJ Francis, whose contract was scheduled to end by the end of this year, well, it turns out that he resigns with with TNA, and there's those have been talking. Maybe there are talks about him getting another title, like the digital media, or possibly the TNA World title. Who knows? So we'll see where that leads. Now, speaking of contracts going on, Gabe Kidd has been announced. His New Japan contract will be up up soon. But the real question is, will he resign with New Japan, or is any interest of him going to AEW? That is something we don't know yet. So we will see. Now, speaking of New Japan, as you all know, many of their events have been broadcast on Access TV. Now, for 2025, they will no longer be broadcasting any of their events on that day. It turns out that New Japan are exiting Access TV, so that's going to be a very interesting to see. So I don't know how that works, but we'll see what future they have. Now, Konami, it was recently been told that it will be out of action. She suffered an injury this past Sunday, or was it Saturday? Sunday, during the Dream Queendom in her match against Shuri. She's going to be out for a while, so her return date is still to be determined. So hope she has a speedy recovery and all that. Many of you may know this or not. Recently, Baron Corbin, I forgot his real name. Well, it turns out that Dave Meltzer has been talking about him recently. Let me pull it up for all of you. Yeah, so he's been talking about him recently. So he says, if someone is exceptionally good, or there's something they can do with them, that's unique. They have a unique idea for them. Of course, go for it. But to have guys, they don't need more guys. They need more top guys. They need more stars. They don't that need to more bodies. So basically, this is something because of what happened at the attending at they were talking about Baron Corbin, AJ Francis, and Tyler Breeze. So basically, they feel like they need top guys for AEW, which is kind of true. We need those type of guys as we speak, but we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is, and of course, end 2025 in a celebration. Well, let's say 2024 has come to an end. I say, let 2025 begin. So, for our next episode, it's going to be AEW Dynamite, I presume, and of course, more with ChocoPro. If there's any other events, we'll see how things will go. But for now, let the celebration keep going. Let's end 2024 and start 2025. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Let's get the party started.